in the very beginning, when we sat down with KDHE, I mean, you had certain limits you had to meet today based upon their action they took against you for phosphorus and nutrients. They, issued those in a draft permit that'll become final when this plant's done, and those will be the limits you have to live by date. This plant fully meets those limits. They also told us that, and we knew this from other facilities, that the EPA is changing ammonia limits across the country, and that they'll eventually be adopted by the Kansas Department of Health and Environment, probably within the next 5 years, so that your permit 2024, this permit will initially be put in place in 2019, and then in 2024 you'll get a new permit. They're going to have lower ammonia limits, and we've been told that, and so the performance of this plant from the outset will meet those limits. Okay. Now, what they've also told you is it's possible, and nobody knows, because the stream, Chatola Creek and Smoky Hill, are under a TMDL, which will continue to be monitored, a total mass daily loading on the creek, and that's not just from the plant. That's from stormwater. That's from agricultural runoff, whatever. They'll continue to monitor that, and there's a good chance that when you're done here with your plant, that's going to be satisfied. But there's no guarantees. So they put you on notice that someday your nutrient levels are likely to go down. That's probably the nitrogen and the phosphorus will probably go down, and they put you on written notice. Now, discussions with KDHE from the start of this project through a couple weeks ago when we were there is they're not going to push any new limits related to that on you till the end of your SRF loan. We don't have that. There's no guarantee of that. But they said it's not their intent to lower those numbers. So there are things within this plant that we have incorporated that will help you meet the next level of nutrients should they be applied. Now, where we stopped short was spending money on equipment that might set 20 years, and by the end of the 20-year period, it's not going to be worth anything. You would have bought it, paid for it, for a future limit that we don't know about. Right. So when those limits come up, there may be things like small structures need to be added, or most likely the biggest problem that you have when you get to those lower limits is you don't have enough carbon in your wastewater. In other words, you don't have enough biological matter for the bugs to do what they need to do, and so you actually have to add carbon. And so it's an addition of a chemical, not so much of a construction of new facilities. So that's something, again, KDHE has told us over their dead bodies, will they force you into that, because they don't believe in going to that limit. But we know they can't guarantee it, and we can't guarantee it, and we don't know what EPA is going to do going forward, or KDHE. Most of the people at KDHE won't be here probably when it happens. So we've tried to prepare you as best we can, and you're in pretty good position for a long time to come.